Welcome back to another episode of Messy But Motivated. You guys, I want to start off this podcast today by saying thank you so much. I have been so overwhelmed with the love that you guys have sent me, and I every day I'm getting more emails from people, more DMs, more messages on Facebook, like everything from you basically saying thank you for sharing your story because it's given me confidence to share mine as well. And I want to do it on your podcast. So I slept on that. I have been like, what comes next? What comes next? Because you guys know I am very I don't live my life the way I'm supposed to live it. I live it the way that the Lord tells me I'm going to live it. So I basically was like, I'm going to sleep on this and I'm going to ask him, where does he want me to go from here? And the poll that I am having is just this overwhelming poll because you guys have been sending me messages, emails, just so much love and just everything. Oh, it's so overwhelming. Just wanting to make a difference. And I'm like, how do I make a difference? How does Melinda make a difference? What can Melinda do? And I think what it is we are now pivoting our podcast. I'm so happy to say this, you guys. I've never felt so confident in my life about doing something as I do with this. So yes, my podcast has always been about being messy, but still being motivated, coming out on top, because y'all know I am a mess. I'm a disaster, but you know what? I'm still getting up every day and doing the thing, okay? So my what I thought I was here for was to tell you, hey, let's do that. Let's get up, let's do it. But I think there's more to it. So with that being said, moving forward, this is going to be your last episode of me talking words of encouragement and some things about, I'm still going to always tell you guys life updates, all that. I'm going to start it with that, and then we're going to get into the nitty gritty. And what we're going to start doing is I'm going to start sharing your stories, whether it be an email that you sent me and you say, hey, can you just read the email? A voicemail. I'm going to put the information down below, you guys, if you want to leave a voicemail of your story. All I ask is just make sure that you give all the details. Make sure that you're saying anything that if you want me, because I'm going to use those clips and put them in the podcast. So please make sure that you're saying what you want heard versus me having to come back and ask a bunch of questions. But please just give me your contact information when you're leaving the voicemail or send me an email in addition to the voicemail so that maybe I have some more background and if I have questions I can ask you. But I'm going to start using your stories, and I think it is going to be a big shift for us, because I think using your stories and our stories, mine, yours, showing that we've been through it but we've came out on top, it's going to show people that are in it right now, that are maybe questioning their faith, maybe questioning life, because there was a time I was questioning life. Like, do I even want to be here anymore? This is hard. I want to show people that, yes, there are so many of us who have been through it. We've been dragged through the mud, and we are going to share it with you so that you understand coming out on top it's possible. It's possible. Our stories, some of your stories that you guys have shared with me has just been like mind-blowing for me. I'm like, my stories mean nothing. I mean, some of these I'm like, ooh, but everybody has a story. Everybody has a story, whether, and your story, it doesn't matter big or small, it's impacted your life and it's made you who you are today. So if you feel so inclined that you want to share your story, please email us. I'm going to have the information below. I'm also going to have where you can call it in, so please do that. And also just give us some grace and time to get back to you, because my team is working very, very hard at pivoting things right now. So please give us some grace on that. That's all I ask from you. But we will get back to you no matter what. If we're going to tell your story or we're not going to tell your story, you are going to hear from us. So please know that. Ultimately, at the end, I'm going to decide if it's the story that should be on this podcast, because we're basically telling people, this is what happened. These are the challenges that we met. And this is how we came out on top. So by doing all these things, so I want the stories to align with that. So if you're like, well, my story didn't get told, then maybe it's because you're still in the messy. Maybe you're still in the messy part. And that's okay. That's okay, because that goes to the save folder. And maybe a year from now, you're going to message me and say, hey, I noticed you didn't pick me, but now I see, because I was kind of in the mess of it. So, and you guys can remember, you can be anonymous. Just because you send the email or leave the message and you're like, I don't want to be, that's fine. Oh my gosh, that's fine. Leave the message though in the email and just put, I want to be anonymous. And we have ways that we're going to do that. I might read the email. I might have somebody else read, like, we are working our way around things right now. So please, please, please submit your stuff. And with that being said, I am going to tell you our new opening, because you probably noticed, Melinda, why didn't you say messy but motivated, where it's okay to be messy as long as you stay motivated? Well, because guys, we have a new tagline that we're going to use. Are you ready? I am. Welcome to Messy but Motivated, where we turn trials into testimonies. It's good, right? The reason that this podcast exists is because I want to share my story and others who have gone through hard times but refuse to stay down. This is Messy but Motivated. With that being said, you guys, today I'm going to talk about something that I have been going through, and I'm going to share it with you guys because, well, I share everything with you guys, and, well, come on, why would I keep this? So I think it's important also because some of you do not want to do this. And I was one of those people. If you would have told me to do this 6 months ago, I would have told you to take a hike. But today, you tell me to do it. I'm going through this healing thing. I'm like, okay, if you think that's going to work, let's do it. So let's get into it. Hard conversations. Oh, the hard conversations. The hard conversations that need to be had. I cannot tell you how many times people think that texting is okay. Like when you're wanting to really get down to the nitty gritty and figure things out between a relationship or anything that might be causing friction in a relationship, even between a mother-daughter or brother-sister, a spouse. Like it's texting is never it. And I can promise you that texting is going to only build more, animosity. The reason I say that is because you don't know the emotions behind it. And sometimes texts get misconstrued. I've been there. I think all of us have been there, where you'll read a text and then that person was like just acting normal. And you're like, you just told me this. And they're like, that's not what I meant. And you're like, oh, all right. Because I thought, so communication, and I'm talking about going in a room or meeting somewhere or being wherever you feel safe, because that's important too. Having a conversation where you feel safe. Now, this conversation also might be over the phone, and that is completely fine. My reasoning for telling you guys this is it's time to have the conversation. So many of us sit back and we just dwell and we get angry, and it just builds and builds, and we're just like, it's like a ticking time bomb is what it is. And it's because we're refusing to have the conversation. When if you just step back and say, you know what? I think we need to talk because there is something going on here and it's only building and it's making things worse. Let's sit down and let's have a talk. Now, if that person is not ready or you don't think they are ready for that talk, I highly recommend just waiting till you think they're ready, or maybe sending the text that says, I want to talk to you, but I feel like you're not at that level right now of maturity or level of you can listen, because this is key to this conversation that I'm telling you. Listen to the words and actually take them in. You're listening. You're not listening to react, listening to reply. You're not doing that. So many people, I can tell you, and I'm saying this from somebody who has been in these hard conversations, and when you're like, well, when you said this, it really hurt my feelings. I did not say it. I did not say it like that. And I didn't. No. That is not. You are there to get your point across on how you feel, why you feel that way. So with that being said, that other person needs to realize going into this conversation, it is not going to be having them question everything you say or jump over everything that you say. So maybe if you know that person is like that, maybe say, or even when you sit down, be like, hey, I want to go into this. As you say what you need to say, I'm going to say what I need to say. And I really want a solution here, but let's both be heard. Let's both be heard, because I think that's important. So many times people will sit down for hard conversations and then it's like they don't want to say the hard things. And I'm telling you, from somebody who had to say some hard things this week, say the hard things. They need to hear it. Whether it hurts them or not, they need to hear why you have this feeling against them, this grudge, this, maybe you don't even know what it is. Because I can tell you something when going through therapy, she asked me something that had come up and she says, why don't you like that person? And you guys, I had to sit back and be like, because I couldn't come up with one answer. It was, I was coming up, well, because he does this, he does that, he. And it was like, okay, but what's the root of it? And we sat back and then we got to the root of it. Now, the root was the whole reason, but I found all these other reasons because along the way, we never talked about that root reason. So along the way, I started grabbing other things and those became the limbs of the tree. You see what I'm saying? So I would, oh, well, you just did that. Well, I knew it because you're a piece of crap, because that one, and then you just keep adding and adding and adding. And now you have this big, big tree. And so when somebody says, why don't you like that person? You're like, where do I start? Where do I start? And I mean, you might have a lot of reasons for it, but if you would have just gotten down to that root one and you guys take the moment, sit down and hash it out and say, this right here is bothering me. I'm telling you, it will change any relationship that you are in. It will. I'm telling you because I'm going through it. I've been through it. And I am the girl who, if you would have told me 6 months ago to sit down and have these hard conversations, woo, I would have been, nah, I ain't doing it. I'm not doing it. But now I have finally realized that part of my healing and my faith, all of that is really maturing and realizing that you can say you're healed all you want to these people, but are you? Because I don't think you're going to be totally healed until you figure out what's going on with you and this person. Now, when you schedule this, make sure you come prepared. I cannot say, I wrote notes and I don't even got to look at them. Make sure you come prepared. Reason being is you don't want to go to this sit down meeting or this phone call, whatever it is. And you don't want to be like, they're like, so tell me why you're mad at me or what's going on. And then all of a sudden you're like, well, I mean, you don't have the root. Make sure you know the root, because I highly recommend make sure you're prepared. I know that's crazy to say, make sure you're prepared to go into a conversation. Make sure you're prepared. Make sure you're prepared. I mean, I think that if you are if you're into your faith, pray on it, all the things. But I think be prepared for the conversation. Also, have things in your head of how it might go. How might it go? Because if you go in with an expectation that this person's going to be like, oh my gosh, I understand, I'm so sorry, and it's totally different where they're defensive and that could be a problem, and it's only going to make things worse. Go in with an expectation of, here is how it could go. This is my dream expectation of what today could look like. Here is what it could look like. We could leave and nothing got solved. That's the reality. We can leave and nothing got solved. And that is also where I want to say, because something did happen this week where that's the conversation was had. And we left in an impasse because we are not going to see eye to eye on this one thing. And that is completely fine, because I am me and she is she. If I cannot convince her to think the way that I do, I just have to tell her why I'm doing the things I'm doing. And that's okay. Do not think leaving a conversation, if you did not come to an agreement or this is what we're going to do moving forward. If you did not come to that, do not think that was a failed conversation, because it was not. You got out what you needed to say. And that right there is the main thing, the most important thing, because people need to hear how you feel. They need to hear it. Whether it's good for them or bad for them, they need to hear it. They do. And that was hard for me, because it's people that I love, and I'm like, no, I don't want to hurt them. I don't want to hurt them. No, because not only did it free me, and I'm like, okay, well, now they know. Now they know why I'm upset. Now they know why I hold this boundary with them. Now they know. And that's important. Let them know. You told them. They know now. It's important to get the words out and across. Yes, do you want a solution? Oh, yes. Everybody wants a solution. That's why I walked into the conversation with somebody I had really hard, and this was going to be a hard conversation. This is a conversation that was meant to happen 20 years ago, and it didn't. I walked in on this conversation, and I said, what are the expectations on this? What do you want from this? Because I wanted to make sure that we both knew what we wanted from this conversation. And I wanted to make sure it wasn't me wanting to do this and then him be like, well, that's not what I was trying to do. I was just trying to say sorry and then you be on your way. It was like where I wanted to know where we're going from here. And once you guys are on the same page and you understand what both are looking for in that conversation, I'm telling you, it's a game changer. Because at the end, you're like, well, did we figure out what you wanted, and did we figure out what I wanted? Okay, cool. Now we can move forward. If you leave at an impasse, it's still not the worst thing, you guys. You got it out, and maybe you'll come back to that conversation next week, maybe 2 months from now, and maybe a year from now. It might be even further than that, but just know it wasn't a conversation that was a big bust. It was not. I also find it very important, and I want to stress this a lot, is if you are having a conversation with somebody that you know, it's hard to talk to them. We all have those people that are so hard to talk to. We do. We have, because they automatically, their whole life, they put defensive, they think they have to defend everything instead of just sitting and listening and taking it in, because that's just how they are. Or you know that you can't talk to them the way that maybe I talk to my sister. I can't talk to them the way that I talk to my husband. And that's life. I'm not going to talk to my pastor the same way I talk to my sister. You know what I mean? So just know there's different ways to talk to different people, and go in knowing that, hey, you know what? I need to make sure when I'm talking, I'm not making it so this person wants to put a guard up and just shut down. If you know that person feels attacked easily, don't go in and be like, well, you said, and he said, and this said. No. Why don't you go in with, I heard this was said and it hurt my feelings, and you go from there. Don't start playing the accusing game or the pointing the finger game, because I can tell you this, it's not going to get very far. A lot of people cannot have hard conversations. They don't have the maturity level, and they're not there yet. So you have to go, and I hate saying that, but it's the truth. Some people have healed and they have gotten on they have a different look on life, a different attitude towards their life. All these things, like, they don't come like it's me, this victim mentality. None of that. It's more of I want to be heard, and I don't want to attack you. I want to tell you how I feel, where other people are like, no, this is attacking me, and I can't stand this, and you guys all think, and you just got to be like, okay, well, I know that I can't talk to her the way that I can talk to her. So just make sure that you're understanding who you're talking to, and get all the data that you've ever had throughout the years, and know, you know what, she doesn't like when I say this, so maybe don't say it that way. Or she feels attacked if I say it this way. Don't say it that way. Find different ways, and that's part of your homework before going into the conversation. Another important thing is one-on-one. Make sure it's a one-on-one. Nobody needs to be in the corner. Nobody even needs to know about this conversation. It's a one-on-one. When you are healing, I have learned it's nobody else's business. And people might be like, well, I think that you need a support system, and you're right. But I can tell you this, if you have the people behind you, such as your therapist, maybe somebody that you really lean on, or like your pastor, well, whoever it may be, you don't need an army behind you to know that you're going in for attack, because you've already got that behind you, those people that already know what you're going through, and they're like, okay, all right, here's what we're going to do. They're already giving you the advice. They're giving you you can do this, all those things. You don't need your wife behind you. You don't need your sister. You don't need those people, unless obviously you're really close with those people and they are your people. But you don't need anybody else in the room. Nobody else in the room. It needs to just be you and that other person. And it needs to be a one-on-one, face-to-face, or over the phone. This is how I feel, and so on and so forth. I cannot tell you enough how important it is not to have other people in the room, because so many people think they need to jump in on conversations, and they don't. They don't, because that makes people feel attacked, and it's a no bueno for me. It's a no bueno. And another thing I want to touch on with this is people sometimes go in because their whole lives they have had this, once again, victim mentality, and they're like, she said this, and then everybody looked at me, and everybody looked at me when I walked in the room, and everybody keeps telling me when I've started doing this, who's everybody? Make them clarify, who is everybody? I need to know who everybody is, because you're saying everybody. So that means my neighbor, everybody that was in this house, that means the president, like everybody, right? Everybody said that. So I need to know who. Don't come at me with everybody. Everybody didn't say that. Who? Ask them, because that's when you really start to figure out, did everybody say that? And it's going to make them question, oh, I guess everybody didn't say that. Only one person looked at me like that. But still, it made me feel not so well when I walked in and quote unquote, everybody stared at me. When no. Because then you can say, okay, well, I'm sorry that person made you feel that way. That is not what I intended for, but it wasn't everybody. So let's, and it really makes people realize, because people need to own their words. Own your words. I used to be the girl who would be like, victim mentality. Oh, she said this, and then I heard this, and then this and this. And it was just a big mess. It was. Old Melinda was not fun, you guys. Oh my goodness. God love you guys for putting up with it. But now it's like, after this whole healing thing, I've realized, and the tools I've gotten from therapy and from people, and it's just, now they're like, listen, here's how you talk. You listen and then react. Instead of listen, that person's going to say, hey, you went and posted that TikTok yesterday, and I know it was about me. And then the old me is like, that is not what I did. You don't know that. The new me is, you're going to finish, so I'll let you posted that TikTok about me, and I didn't appreciate it. It actually, I knew it was about me, and so I felt this way and this way. Then I can say, okay, well, I want to apologize that you felt that way, but that is not a TikTok about you. And I don't have to tell you who it was about, or, whatever it was, but let them know, like, they are being heard. Let them know they're being heard. Oh, it's so important. Let them know they are being heard. And I'm going to leave you with this. Do not be scared to put boundaries on relationships in your life. I believe that boundaries are a way of protecting our peace. They are. My whole life have not had boundaries. I've not. And after going to therapy and really getting into all of this, I have realized I've needed them all along, and I never had them. I never put them up with people. And I'm going to give you a for instance of what my boundaries look like. A boundary for me was I went to my therapist and I said, something really big happened. Okay? Something really big happened. I'm going to use an example. I got 380 downloads on my podcast in one day. I go to the person who I think should want to be my biggest fan, and I say, I had 380 downloads today on my podcast. And they say, oh, really? That's cool. And then they're like, hey, did you see that TikTok that I sent you earlier? It is so freaking funny. Did you see it? And then I'm over here like, oh, I'm so excited. And you just kind of shot. Okay. All right. Okay. Note taken. So instead of me because it's happened multiple times, it hasn't just happened one time. It wasn't a one and done. My therapist basically said, why are you doing it? Why do you keep going back to that person and telling them anything? Do you have a boundary up that says, you know what? That person's only going to see things happen as they happen. And I was like, no. She's like, that's your problem. You have this expectation that you are going to tell this person and this person is going to be so excited for you because you have an expectation that's going to happen. Now, that's not what they give you. And then all of a sudden, now you're on this upset and I don't even know why I'm doing this because you are upset that their reaction was not what you expected it to be. So part of that was, okay, I have now set boundaries and I'm like, nope, I am moving in silence. I have decided that I am moving in silence and that's my boundary. My boundary is from now on, you're going to see things, but you're not going to hear about them first. You are going to see them happen in real time. And that boundary was important to me because it's protecting my peace. It's protecting my sanity and all the things that come along with it. With that piece, I also want to let you know, when we got down to the core of the problem there, I had my whole life, I have always tried to make people proud of me. And it's like I wanted to go to these people and be like, oh my gosh, did you see what I did? Because I want them to be proud of me. When I needed to be making myself proud and not worrying about anybody else. Because I have already gone above and beyond what would make somebody proud. Somebody that is, should be proud of somebody. I have already gone through so much and, I graduated college. There's so many things, I went in the military. I did this, I did that. I am just every aspect of my life. If you looked at the big picture, anybody would be proud of this person. Anybody would be proud of me. They'd be like, holy moly, like you, girl. Yes. So I was needing to realize I need to make myself proud. What is it that's going to make me proud? And I wrote it all down and I'm like, yeah, this is what's going to make me proud. And what's going to make me proud is all of these things that I wrote down on paper. And it doesn't matter what that person says or that person says or that person says. It doesn't matter. Their opinions don't matter. You need to make yourself proud. What's going to make you proud at the end of the day? It doesn't matter what your sister-in-law says if she's looking at you like, oh, yeah, okay, yeah, real big accomplishment. But is it an accomplishment to you? Okay. All right. Then that's all that matters. It is it. Y'all are getting some free therapy from me today. How do you feel? Oh my gosh, my sister said that the other day. She said, girl, you know what? She's like, I've gotten so much healing done because of you, and I didn't even have to go to therapy because I tell my sister everything. So I'll go to therapy and I'll be like, here's what she said. Went to my pastor the other day. I said, here's what he said. She's like, girl, I don't even got to leave my house. I said, I know, it's free therapy. I'm over here doing the work, patting myself on the back, and you're getting good for you. I'm proud of you. I'm proud of you. You don't have to spend a dime, and I'm just giving it to you. So I know I joke about that, but I'm so glad that she doesn't even have to leave her house. Just sharing wisdom over here. So I hope you guys are excited about the future of this podcast, and I hope this podcast today really gets some of you to have the hard conversations with people. Okay? Have them. Have them, I promise you. If you have them, you will get this sense of, yes, box checked. I said what I had to say. I said what I had to say. But remember to listen to this podcast again before you go in, because there's a lot of boxes you got to check before you go in, you know? Go prepared, go in with expectations, all those things that I went over, you guys. Make sure you listen and really take them in, because I can tell you they do work, because I used them this week. I had 3 really hard conversations with 3 people, and I haven't gotten a lot of sleep this week. Let's just say that. But they needed to be done, and they were said. And now I can say, hey, you know, and now I'm sleeping better. All right. So take this as free therapy today. And remember that going forward, we are turning this podcast into my story, other stories, so your story. And we are going to show people how trials can turn into testimonies, because oh my, I'm a walking testimony, y'all. I'm a walking testimony. I'm so happy. I'm so proud of myself. So make sure, if you want to submit your story, you can either call it in, and I have that number down below. I also have where you can email it, and here is that email address also down below. And if you want to do both, go ahead and do that. Or you can simply just say, hey, here's the email. I want to be anonymous, but you can share my story, or whatever you want to do. Or if we want to set up a Zoom call, say, here's the breakdown of my story, because I kind of need to know a little bit about it before we set up a Zoom call, because I need to know if it fits what we're trying to do here. And then we can set up a Zoom and we can do it that way. So you guys have made me, I have been over the moon. The amount of downloads we've had on our podcast, I said our, because I feel like it's me and your podcast. I feel like we're a team here. The podcast has been amazing. And the amount of new followers, I went from 7,000 followers on my Facebook. That's always been really one really hard for me to grow for some reason. My TikTok, I've always had like the 230,000, and it's been, slowly growing. But the Facebook has been a challenge for me, and we are at, I think, 85,000 people within 48 hours, maybe 72, I don't know, 72 hours. So I am over the moon. I feel so blessed. I can't even tell you guys how blessed I feel to know that we are, if there's anything I can do, it's for Charlie, since he's passed, is carry on his legacy in some way, even if it's a little way. And I think this right here is going to change people's lives. I think it will. Not think, I know it will. The amount of emails I've already gotten with people saying, oh my gosh, I am coming to faith now. I heard your testimony and all of this, like, it has been like, wow, overwhelming. So I think your stories are going to help others the way my story helped. So we are going to continue on and keep pushing you guys. And I can't thank you enough. My heart is so full right now. And all I'm doing, you guys, I am in the Bible. I am learning the things. Oh, and are you guys ready for this? I am going to school to be a pastor. I decided that I wanted to be in ministry. I didn't know what kind of ministry. So my degree is focusing, it's a master's degree in ministry. So I'm so excited. I cannot wait to see where I'm going to be a year from now, 2 years from now. Oh my God, 10 years from now. I'm so excited, you guys. So yes, that is some big news that I wanted to share with you guys. And that starts soon. So I'm very excited. And once again, it's my master's, so it's only going to be a 2-year program, but I say only 2 years. It's going to be a long 2 years, but I'm already in it. Morning, noon, and night. I am in it to win it. I'm in it. My pastor gave me some books that I've been reading. I'm in it to win it. So I'm so excited that all of you guys are here to watch me blossom and grow into this soon to be pastor of some sort, I guess. Doing ministry work. Oh my, that sounds weird to even say. Woo! I'm so excited, you guys. But yes, stick around. We have so much more happening. So just remember, hit subscribe, do all the things. If you think this is going to help somebody, please go ahead and send this episode to them, because not only does it help me, it will help them. And I am forever thankful. So with that being said, you guys, I will see you again next week.